Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, folks, today we're diving deep into everything that's happening with your beloved Dallas Cowboys. If you're like me, you've been anxiously following every move, every draft pick, every offseason development, and let's be honest, the Cowboys are always a team that keeps us on the edge of our seats. This offseason has been no different, especially with some surprising choices and bold moves that could shape the team's future in ways we didn't quite expect. So, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you might change your perspective on the Cowboys' upcoming season. Now, I know many of you are probably wondering about the big picture, the team's strategy, the roster changes, and how they're stacking up against NFC East rivals. But today, I want to focus on something that's been stirring up a lot of buzz amongst fans and analysts alike, the Cowboys' approach to their running back room and what it means for the team's depth chart going into 2025. It's been a bit controversial, especially considering the recent draft decisions, or rather, the lack of focus on the wide receiver position, which many fans felt was a missed opportunity. But in true Cowboys fashion, they've been making some sneaky, strategic moves elsewhere, and those could end up being game changers. So, let's start with the draft. The Cowboys didn't spend a single pick on a wide receiver, which, for many, seemed like a head-scratcher. With some of the top talents available, it was surprising not to see them address that need. Instead, the team turned its attention to bolstering the backfield, and folks, they did it in a big way. Dallas spent 2 day 3 picks on running backs, a move that caught some off guard but actually makes a lot of sense when you look at their roster and the current state of their depth chart. They selected Texas Longhorn speedster Jaden Blue in the 5th round and Clemson's tough and physical Phil Mafah in the 7th round. And let me tell you, these two could be the keys to the Cowboys' rushing attack in 2025. Jaden Blue is a player that immediately catches your eye. The guy's got blazing speed, and he's a true gamebreaker, especially in the open field. His ability to turn a small gain into a big play is what the Cowboys need to diversify their offense and add that explosive element that's been missing at times. Blue isn't just fast, he's also a talented receiver out of the backfield, which makes him even more dangerous. Imagine having a running back who can both run the ball and be a reliable target in third down situations. That's exactly what Blue brings to the table. If he impresses during OTAs, minicamp, and training camp, he could very well earn a significant role early on, making life difficult for veteran backs on the roster. And speaking of veterans, the Cowboys' running back room has some established names, including Miles Sanders, who was recently signed in free agency. Sanders has NFL experience, including stints with division rivals like the Eagles and the Panthers. But here's where things get interesting. Some analysts, including Ben Grimaldi from USA Today, have already started speculating that Sanders might be on the chopping block, especially if the rookies show out during the offseason. It's not uncommon for NFL teams to bring in veteran players to add leadership and experience, but if Blue and Mafah outshine Sanders, the veteran might find himself fighting for a roster spot, or even being released altogether before the season begins. Let's pause here for a moment. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. Now, back to the story. The selection of Mafah in the 7th round adds another intriguing layer to this competition. Mafah is known for his size, power, and physical running style, traits that are somewhat different from Blue's speed and agility. This kind of dual-threat approach in the backfield, speed versus power, gives the Cowboys some real flexibility and options for their offensive scheme. And let's not forget, the NFL is increasingly favoring versatile backs who can do it all, and Mafah fits that mold perfectly. What does all this mean for Miles Sanders? Well, he's only 28 years old, which isn't old by NFL standards, but his last season was arguably his worst. Just 55 carries for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns, not exactly what you'd expect from a player with his talent and experience. So, he's got a lot to prove in training camp now. He'll need to show that he's still got that burst, that vision, and that ability to be a threat both running and catching out of the backfield. Otherwise, he could be on the outside looking in, especially if Blue or Maffa impress the coaches. The Cowboys coaching staff, led by Mike McCarthy and his offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, has been emphasizing versatility and competition. They want players who can adapt and bring multiple skills to the table. And if Blue and Maffa demonstrate that they can handle NFL defenses and contribute early, the Cowboys might not hesitate to give them significant playing time. It's a smart move, especially considering the unpredictable nature of injuries and the wear and tear on veteran players over a long season. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The Cowboys have always been a team that prides itself on a strong defense and a balanced offense. Their defense, led by stars like Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, remains a force to reckon with. The question is whether the offense, particularly the passing game, will be able to keep pace with the high-powered NFC teams like the Eagles, 49ers, and Seahawks. The wide receiver position, as I mentioned earlier, has been a point of concern for many fans. Despite the addition of some promising rookies and the return of CeeDee Lamb, who is already establishing himself as one of the league's top receivers, there's still a lingering question: will the front office finally invest more heavily in wide receiver talent in the upcoming seasons? Or will they continue to rely on the existing core and hope that the offense can find its rhythm? That's where the draft strategy becomes even more intriguing. The Cowboys have shown a willingness to adapt and prioritize certain positions based on their evaluation. While many fans and analysts expected them to target receivers in earlier rounds, the focus on the backfield suggests they're confident in their current receiving core and want to maximize their running game. This could be a calculated move, especially if the offensive line holds up and the quarterback, Dak Prescott, continues to develop chemistry with his targets. Speaking of Dak Prescott, he's entering a crucial phase of his career. After a couple of seasons marked by injuries and inconsistent performances, the expectation now is for him to lead this team back to the playoffs and beyond. The pressure is mounting, especially with the NFC East becoming more competitive each year. The Giants are rebuilding, the Eagles are reigning division champs with a formidable roster, and the Commanders are always lurking with surprises. So, Prescott needs a supporting cast that can elevate his game, and that's why the running back room's development is so vital. A strong rushing attack can open up play-action opportunities, keep defenses honest, and extend drives, all critical for a team with playoff aspirations. Now, looking at the historical context, the Cowboys have always valued a versatile backfield. Remember the days of Emmitt Smith, one of the greatest to ever do it? He was a perfect blend of power, vision, and durability. Fast forward to recent years, and the team has often relied on a mix of power runners and elusive scatbacks. The current draft choices seem to embrace that philosophy, adding speed and power to their arsenal. It's a classic Cowboys approach, balancing star power with depth and competition. And if these rookies develop as expected, it could lead to a very exciting and dangerous offense in 2025. But it's not just about the offense. The Cowboys' defense has been a backbone for this team for years. Micah Parsons, in particular, has been a game-changer, a true difference-maker on the pass rush. The secondary has also improved significantly, especially with Trayvon Diggs anchoring the cornerback unit. If the offense can find consistency, and the rookies in the backfield can contribute early, the Cowboys could be a complete team, capable of making a deep playoff run. But, of course, everything hinges on development, coaching, and staying healthy. In recent seasons, we've seen the Cowboys struggle with injuries and inconsistency at key positions. The offensive line has had its moments of brilliance but also some setbacks, especially at the tackle positions. Improving the running game with fresh, dynamic backs could help ease some of that pressure, giving Dak Prescott more options and confidence. And don't forget, the NFL is a league where every inch and every play counts. Having multiple threats on offense makes a huge difference, And it looks like the Cowboys are betting on their young, talented backs to be that difference. Now, let's talk about expectations. Cowboys fans, I know you're eager for a successful season, but realistically, there's still a lot to prove. The NFC East is tougher than ever, and every game will be a battle. The team's success will depend on how well the rookies adapt, how quickly Sanders can regain his form, and whether the coaching staff can maximize their talents. The front office's move to draft Blue and Maffa shows they're thinking ahead, planning for a future where the running game is a cornerstone of their offense. It's a bold strategy, and if executed well, it could pay huge dividends. Of course, we should also keep an eye on the other side of the ball. The defense, led by Parsons, is arguably one of the top units in the league. Their pressure and playmaking ability could be the difference in tight games. But to truly contend, the Cowboys need their offense to be more consistent, more explosive, and more unpredictable. The addition of these young backs might just give them that extra edge. And as we look ahead to the upcoming season, it's clear that a lot hinges on how these rookies develop. Training camp will be crucial, as will preseason games. It's the time when players like Blue and Maffa will establish themselves, earn respect from the coaching staff, and show that they belong on this roster. If they impress early, the Cowboys might be looking at a very different backfield than what many initially expected. That could mean less playing time for veterans like Sanders, but it also means a more dynamic, versatile attack that can adapt to whatever defenses throw at them. As fans, we should also remember that the NFL is a league of surprises. Injuries happen, breakout players emerge, and the best team on paper doesn't always win on the field. But what's certain is that the Cowboys are clearly making strategic moves to improve their chances, focusing on speed, versatility, and competition. That's the hallmark of a team that's trying to get back to the top, and as Cowboys fans, we should be excited about the potential this roster holds. So, to sum it all up, the Cowboys' offseason has been a bit of a roller coaster, with some surprises and bold choices. The focus on the running back position, especially with the draft selections of Blue and Maffa, signals a shift towards a more explosive and versatile offense. While veterans like Sanders still hold a place in the team, their future might be uncertain if these rookies prove they can handle the NFL game. It's a fascinating time for Cowboys fans, full of hope, anticipation, and a dash of skepticism, which is perfectly normal in the NFL. But one thing's for sure, the team is making moves, laying the groundwork for a potential breakout season, and we'll be here every step of the way to keep you updated with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these developments? Do you believe Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa will be the game changers the team needs? Are you worried about the lack of wide receiver additions? Or do you trust the front office's plan? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions matter so much to us and to the Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, insights, and exclusive content, so stay tuned for everything Cowboys related. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys!